evening, everyone. The time is now 7 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Planning and Development Committee meeting. Can I please have a roll call?
Here.
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 Here. Here.
Okay, thank you. First up is the omnibus vote. I need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Moved by David.
Second.
Second by Vicky. Roll call, please.
Bongard?
Yes.
Muntz?
Yes.
Gem?
Yes.
Spellman?
Yes.
Petrilla?
Yes.
Bester?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Sulkaitis?
Yes.
Folks?
Yes.
Okay. Next up is item 4C, Plan Commission recommendation to approve a preliminary and final plat of subdivision for St. Charles Heights subdivision. Russell Colby will present.
Yes, good evening. Property owner Geneva Heights, represented by Bob Rasmussen, is requesting combined approval of a preliminary and final plat of subdivision to split the property at 873 Geneva Road into two buildable lots for the purpose of constructing two single-family homes. Each of those lots would meet the minimum standards of the RT1 zoning district. Access to both lots will be off of Geneva Road through a shared driveway. A required public storm sewer will be provided for both of the lots and extended through the property to the south, and the public sidewalks along Geneva Road frontage will be replaced. Maintenance agreement's been prepared, which defines the use and maintenance of the shared driveway and the private stormwater system for both property owners. The Plan Commission reviewed the plat on July 8th and recommended approval. Final engineering plans in support of the subdivision applications have been approved by staff, and the plat of subdivision meets all requirements of the subdivision code. There's separately on the agenda a plat of easement over the property to the south, 885 Geneva Road. That's required in connection with the subdivision. That's listed as a separate agenda item.
Okay. Any questions or comments up here?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Weber, second by Petrella. Roll call, please.
Bongard?
Yes.
Muntz?
Yes.
Gem?
Yes.
Spellman?
Yes.
Petrilla?
Yes.
Bester?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Sulkaitis?
Yes.
Folks?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 4D, recommendation to approve a plot of easement for 885 Geneva Road.
Yes, and this is the off-site easement in connection with the subdivision item that was just voted on.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Move for approval.
Moved by Gem, second by Munns. Roll call, please.
Bongard?
Yes.
Muntz?
Yes.
Gem?
Yes.
Spellman?
Yes.
Petrilla?
Yes.
Bester?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Sulkaitis?
Yes.
Folks?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Next item is 4E, presentation regarding urgent need home rehab program partnership with Habitat for Humanity of Northern Fox Valley.
Chairman, I'm due to a family member being involved with this project, I'm going to recuse myself from this.
So note that for the record, David Petrella is recusing himself. Russ, go ahead.
Yes, so tonight we're presenting a concept of a new program recommended by the Housing Commission. Staff's presenting this information for feedback and direction prior to preparing the formal documents for approval. The goal of this new program is to provide financial assistance in the form of grants to income-eligible households needing urgent home repairs, and this would be funded from the city's Housing Trust Fund. The program will be a partnership with Habitat for Humanity of the Northern Fox Valley as the grant administrator. So some background, the city has a similar program that's been in place since 2010, known as the Home Rehab Accessibility Loan Program. This program is provided as an add-on to a Kane County program. The city provides additional funds to it for St. Charles properties, and it's administered by an organization known as Community Contacts. This program has seen relatively limited usage in St. Charles because the qualification requirements are difficult to meet, and also the complexity of their application process. So the Housing Commission, based on a review of that program, looked into ways to try to improve that existing program, but they're now instead proposing a separate new program in this partnership with Habitat. In this draft outline, which is attached in the packet, has been worked on with Habitat over the past few months. The proposed program is known as the Urgent Need Program. It's different from the existing rehab loan program in a few ways. First, the assistance is in the form of a grant and not a loan. Income eligibility requirement is lower, so it's set to below 60% of the area median income. And there's a table that's been provided in the packet showing the income comparisons by household size for both of the existing program and this new program. And the scope of eligible improvements is somewhat more limited. So it's limited to repairs that are critical for the upkeep of a home or for health and safety reasons. So roofing, windows, exterior door repair, replacement, HVAC. It also would include accessibility improvements within the grant program. And as it's proposed, Habitat would assist the applicants by hiring contractors, obtaining permits, and overseeing the work. So they'd be heavily involved with administering both the grant and the construction. And this program would be similar to a program that Habitat already operates, although their eligibility requirements are a little stricter. So this would potentially allow for a wider range of homeowners to participate because it would allow for a higher home value limit. The Housing Commission recommended setting a yearly budget based on a percentage of the Housing Trust Fund. Since this funding is in the form of a grant, this money would not be returned to the trust fund, so they wanted to keep it somewhat proportional. They had suggested $85,000 for the first year, which is about 5% of the current trust fund balance. So with that, we're looking for any comments on this draft program outline.
Thanks, Russ. Steve?
I think this is a really good program. It always aggravates me knowing that we have, north of $1 million basically sitting in a fund to help people, and it's, extremely cumbersome to be able to get help. And I also like the fact that, staff won't be managing the program. It'll be the Habitat for Humanity, and their administrative fee for what they're doing, I have no issue with. So I really applaud whoever put this together. I like this program a lot. Thank you.
Anyone else down here? Jamie?
Thank you. I first of all really like that this was a very different way to look at this housing fund. I appreciate the work that went into this. I have a couple of questions specifically about this. I'm not sure I fully understand with the 60% versus 80% AMI. Are we making it easier or harder for people to qualify when we're putting it at 60%?
Yeah, so it's 60, so you'd have to be below that income threshold based on household size. So to qualify for this grant program, we're making it harder to qualify based on income level.
And do we think, given the income levels in St. Charles, that we are going to find people who are at these income levels that are in need that would be applying for this grant?
We think so.
That are homeowners?
Yeah, we think so. I think it primarily will be seniors who may have a housing value that's much higher over time, although they're on a lower fixed income.
Okay.
They're most likely to qualify. One thing we can do, because this will be our own program, we have some flexibility for the eligibility requirements. If we see over the first year or so that there's not participation, we can have some information put together on who's tried to apply. We can look at expanding those eligibility requirements if that's of interest.
That's incredibly helpful. Okay, that really helps me understand this a little bit better. And then I think my only other comment is that while I really like this, I like that it only takes up 5% of this, and it does, to Alderman Weber's point, it does put some use to this fund. I still would like to see some other options where we are incentivizing smaller builders to be able to find ways to do infill or otherwise use this fund other than giant multifamily 800 builds.
Yeah, and that is on the list of the Housing Commission's next project to look at. They're also in discussions with Lazarus House about a potential rental assistance program that we'll bring back probably the next month or two, and then also talking about the type of program you described that would be a smaller scale program to assist smaller developments with a simpler process than applying through the county.
Yeah, because while this does help people with making their homes more habitable, it doesn't actually add to the housing stock, and that's
correct. So it would keep an income qualified affordable resident in their existing house, but it does not add additional housing affordable units.
I think this is great. The partnership with Habitat is fantastic. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? Ron?
Just a comment. I think this is a good idea. To echo everybody else's point, we got all that money sitting in there, and we're not doing anything with it. I'd like to put it to use to help our residents of St. Charles who can stay here. Thank you.
Anyone else? So,
Move
Mike,
forward.
we're not approving anything, it's just kind of general feedback. So I'm very supportive of this program. I think the difference maker is it's a grant versus a loan, so hopefully that encourages more people to apply, especially senior citizens on fixed incomes, but I'm very supportive of the program, so.
Well done.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, next we have public comment. Do we have any public comments tonight?
Tom Anderson, 712 Horn. I make a comment on nothing that's going to be discussed tonight, but coming up in the future. I don't know if you're all aware of the SSA 1A ordinance that's on our books for St. Charles. It's been on it for a number of years. As a property owner on the west side, I've had the privilege of paying taxes to all of you or the city for the city supplying parking is what it is. And it is also supplying parking, and it does not require a change of use of a building, and with a change of use, having more parking. Now, I say this as well, probably when Walter Folks was on the board years ago, and I was on the board, not on the board, but a member of the community. If somebody wanted to change the use, they had to either pay into a fund or supply parking. The city came up with the idea of putting in parking lots and improving them and working on it. Well, needless to say, it's gone well beyond what I ever expected, especially with the multi-story parking lots you've done in town, which is great. But what I'm mentioning is, and I'll give you a little history. I think we got a little time tonight. Townhouse Books used to be, it's a restaurant now, part of it. Used to be Al's Ice Creamery. Before that, it was all books. When it became Al's, the restaurant, didn't have to do any parking. Now they put their own lot in across the street. Rock and Ravioli across the street at the Arcata. Anybody remember Anderson and Parker grocery store? I do, in the 40s. Then it became Foster's Paint Store, Don Scheib, who's got his name out at the township office. And now, and that was retail, right? Now it's a restaurant. Actually, a lot more cars. Didn't have to do anything in zoning because they're in the SSA 1A district. And the other example is up in particular in the Baker lots, and that's why I'm bringing this up, because you're going to be discussing all of this one of these days. There's two businesses in particular that the city allowed them to build with no parking. And one is 302 State Avenue, which is between Townhouse Books parking and the North Baker lot. They have zero parking. They've got, the building could be sold for doctor's offices and have 3 exam rooms and 10 patients and all that. Their parking right now is all in the Baker North lot. They built the building years ago, and with the idea that the city was going to keep supplying parking. So I think you'll hear in the future that if the Baker sells that lot for something else and the city doesn't maintain parking, I don't know if the city has done the obligation and the property value of that place is going to go down. The other new building that is directly north of Townhouse Books is a similar situation. It was built new. Obviously, it looks a lot newer than what Townhouse Books is. Well, they're right now have got, I guess, some kind of consultants in there or doctors or whatever. They park up in the North Baker lot and walk down there. If that Baker lot isn't there for a city, they will not have the value of their building, and the services cannot be rendered. Both of those buildings are paying into this SSA 1A tax every year. the city is getting taxed for supplying parking. I'm had nothing to do with this financially. I'm only saying it as a citizen. If that lot is ever sold, those two businesses will be value is going to go down, and unless you're going to supply another parking lot somewhere else. They did not have to do it in the beginning, so I'm only mentioning this because going forward, I think the baker's going to be sitting here thinking about stuff to do. If we can figure out something in advance, that would be wonderful. My comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay, seeing none. Any additional items from the mayor, council, or staff? Jamie?
Sure, a couple of things. I did have a comment for staff that I saw an article in the newspaper about the Elgin incubators. Those are sort of like the Batavia boardwalk shops. Seems like we're seeing those all over all of the suburbs, in all the collar counties and even beyond. And I would just like to throw that out there again. I've brought these up for the last 2.5 years. I just find it interesting that we still don't see much movement on any kind of types of businesses like that in St. Charles. Nobody seems to be interested in putting anything like that together, and it seems like we're sort of being left behind on business incubators when we are actively seeking retail in St. Charles. So I'd love to see more conversations maybe with the Business Alliance and the Chamber and other organizations that might be interested in putting something like that together. My other comment is that with bike ordinances that are continuing to pop up, I would like to really ensure that as we look at those things, that we are making sure that we are looking at the bicycle rules as a holistic issue rather than attempting to change behavior through ordinances, and that we're being smart about this, because I'm seeing a lot of very unusual things in different cities that seem to be trying to regulate behavior in ways that don't seem to make a lot of sense. And there was just an article today about how I think it was Roselle and some of their neighboring cities, where you are trying to get from one place to another as an under 16-year-old trying to travel on an e-bike, and you have to stop at a city limit because now you are no longer legally allowed to travel on that bike into that next town where you were yesterday, because now they've changed an ordinance there. So going from one city to the next, where we're neighbors with Geneva, and we've got Campton Hills over here, we've got West Chicago, that we're just being smart as we make these rules, and that we are looking at this from an education perspective, and not just coming at them with, here are the rules, and let's just hope that everybody follows them.
Okay, any other comments? No? Okay. So we will be going into executive session to discuss property acquisition, so we're going to need the room vacated, and I will need a motion to go into executive session regarding property acquisition. Moved by Bob, I need a second. Second by Mark. Roll call, please.
Bongard?
Yes.
Mudd?
Yes.
Gem?
Yes.
Bellman?
Yes.
Trilla?
Yes.
Fester?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulkaitis?
Yes.
Vogt?
Yes.
Okay, we are now officially in executive session.